In a world where knowledge is power, listen to industry-leading experts discuss the future of digital currency. Welcome to the Crypto Untangled podcast. Learn the ins and outs of cryptocurrency and blockchain and take your wealth to the next level. Now, here is your host, Dr. Boudib.
Thank you for joining me today. I piled somehow a little bit of traditional with a little bit of new questions for you. So
Awesome.
Before starting, I would like to know a little bit more about you. When did you get into crypto and when did you start collecting NFTs?
So I got into crypto probably, not gonna lie, like 2000, maybe 20. So pretty recently for cryptocurrency. I was more in the AR VR space. So we were selling, experiences for virtual reality and augmented experiences. And then, come 2020, I just randomly started to find, NFTs. So I actually kind of found NFTs. Well, I knew what cryptocurrency was, but I found NFTs first, and then NFTs kind of took me into the whole crypto space. So I was just on Atomic Hub one day, and I put up one of these game assets that we had from one of me and my friends' games. It sold right away. And, then I was like, what is this? And I started researching into what Atomic Hub was, what NFTs were. And then once I realized what they were, I was like, wow, this technology is really cool. And it can be used a ton of different ways. I took a little break in between, got more into cryptocurrency during that break, and then came back. And now we're working on not only Ellie Blob, which is our NFT collection, and then Immersys, which is that metaverse that we're creating, where almost all collections on the Wax ecosystem can kind of come in there and be in-game objects.
Right. So what was the spark, or what did motivate you to start the Immersys?
Yeah, so Immersys kind of came around when we realized, like, we have what was made. So we had this program already, and it was already being used for enterprise use cases for VR, remote work. So we were having these remote virtual offices where companies could go there, and instead of going on Zoom or Microsoft Teams or something like this, they can work in a 3D space with their headset on and kind of draw in 3D space. So then we were just like, wow, like, all right, we have one step of like almost the future here. And then we found blockchain, and we were like, wow, okay, so now not only can we have you in this virtual world where you're experiencing everything and it all feels pretty real, now we can put objects in there that you can actually own. And we were just like, all right, let's combine the two of them. And when we combine the two of them, then it all kind of clicked, and we're just like, okay, I think we're on to something here. Let's continue down the line here. And then we kind of saw that there were some other people doing similar things, but I don't think they allow you to create their own assets, but it's not like you're bringing in, all the work of other people into one place. And I think that's what we like.
That's very nice. So that was part of the next question that I wanted to ask you, that knowing there's pretty much or many metaverses that are growing or starting with games and things like that. Yep. What would make yours special or different, or where is the novelty in your Immersys in comparison to the rest?
So I think the novelty in ours does kind of play off what I was saying, where it's like other people's collections coming in here. So these are already established NFT collections that we can bring into Immersys and then give those collections that already exist additional utility inside of the Immersys game. So I think a lot of them you kind of have to build specifically using their tools, which are awesome. But, eventually we'll have something similar to that where you can build your own assets just exclusively for Immersys and, sell them in a marketplace environment. But also the addition of, you can take any atomic asset that's built on, the Wax blockchain and bring that atomic asset into Immersys, and then we can add that additional functionality inside of there. So, it encompasses everything. I also think the really cool part about Immersys is we use this virtual tablet as the main tool inside of Immersys. where it functions like a real life smart device where, you know, you can access the internet. So any of your popular dApps that are built in technically any, you know, cryptocurrency ecosystem you can play, but you can also play the top ones from Wax. So you can play your Alien Worlds, you can play your Our Planet, you know, you can play all different types of games off of just this one virtual tablet inside of Immersys. So we kind of encompass everything in one place.
So it's a game inside a game.
It is. And I think that's the really exciting part is we can continuously add things to it.
What was that American movie that was a dream inside the dream? I don't remember it.
Inception, I believe.
Inception,
yeah.
That's it.
Yes. Yeah.
So maybe you are creating something like the Inception games,
exactly.
Games. What would be the utility of an NFT inside beyond being, let's say, brought to life? So let's say I brought X NFT into the game.
Yep.
What would be its utility for me, and how would I use it? Would I be minting a token, X token, let's say, or will it be a skin or something else?
So we can do a lot of different things. So one of the main things that we're trying to work on right now is actually incorporating almost like a questing system. So what we can do is we can create a storyline inside of Immersys where, you know, maybe you have to go and gather, or maybe you talk to some type of NPC in the world and they tell you maybe they lost their cat, right? And now they tell you that, you know, their cat really likes, you know, to play with yarn or a ball of yarn, right? So in Immersys, we can create an experience where you have to go out and maybe pick up, you know, wool or cotton or shear a sheep or something like that and get and then make a ball of wool. Now, let's say that to get the cat back, you have to go and buy an NFT off of the secondary market from one of the collections that we have inside of Immersys. So what we're doing is we're kind of incorporating like gameplay inside of Immersys with having to buy NFTs on a secondary market, increasing the value of whatever that NFT is from any collection. We can create, you know, hundreds of thousands of storylines. But now, not only is that NFT, you know, brought to life in the game, but now it also serves as a quest item requirement to finish, you know, some type of objective or storyline that we create inside of Immersys, where you have to go out and actually own it to continue down the quest line. You know, we can also create experiences where, let's say you are like an artist, a music artist or so, and you have, you know, live recordings of your concerts or something like that. You can sell an NFT that acts as if it's a ticket to a venue. We can have an amphitheater in there, or like a small little lounge area where we can have you only be able to go in there if you own the ticket, and then you get to watch a concert inside of Immersys. You know, another thing that we were kind of thinking about is like just a ton of different. So the one thing that you mentioned is like the token. Like we want every item in there to almost have like a value of Holocoin, which is going to be our token that we introduced, where, you know, you can sell that item to a shop for the base, you know, amount of Holocoin, and that's kind of how you start earning the currency inside of Immersys. You kind of gather, harvest, do things in the game, win prizes. Those prizes have some type of Holocoin value, and you can either trade it in or trade it on the secondary market, and kind of create more of like an MMO style of a tokenomics rather than like just a faucet method of it.
Perfect. Basically, I'm not sure. I did not even share with you my questions, but it seems that you always try to jump one step ahead. The question that I wanted to ask was, in such AR, VR world, the limit is only your imagination.
Yes.
So basically, in your imagination, I know you have a big one.
Yep.
Where do you see Immersys in 2 years? What kind of world do you imagine Immersys in 2 years? What can a person do in such world?
Yeah, I really like that question. So like, I picture you come in there, you know, you pull up your tablet, you're in VR too. And I picture you kind of looking around and see who's in the central hub. And then you look at your tablet, you know, you have all your contacts in there. You see, you know, what friends you have online, you know, where they are in the world, like what they're doing. You know, you maybe hop in and join one guy that's maybe at like a lounge area, just talking with some of his friends. You're just chatting, you're talking about NFTs, talking about projects, talking about what's going on in life, and then, after you get done with the lounge, you maybe go back to your like house that you own, and like you can host people there, and you have all your virtual assets that you actually own like in your virtual world. Once you kind of get bored of your house and like decorating your house, you can come out and start playing, in an arcade where you're like earning, Holocoin, or you're earning NFTs for just playing games inside of there. Let's say you get bored and you're just like tired of, sitting in the house, or even just playing like arcade games. You go into a like first person shooter game or something like that, where, you got another game inside of there where it almost feels like you're playing, a completely different game, but you're playing Call of Duty still all inside of one Immersys, like, metaverse. And then you go in there, you play a couple games of that, you get bored of that, you come and maybe play like a Super Smash Bros equivalent of like all your favorite NFT creators. So like, how all the collections have their like almost like mascot type thing. So like, we create like a mascot of NFT collections, and they just battle. And you could just play all these types of games. So you get done with that, and then you're just like, oh well, I've earned all this all these NFTs, I've earned all this Holocoin. Let's go ahead and check out the market district. And then you go out and go into the market district and like purchase some stuff for your avatar, so that you can kind of wear around and show off, and kind of personalize yourself and personalize everything around you. And then you maybe end the night watching some type of event, like going to some type of event inside of Immersys.
Would you be able to add, for instance, some physical items in game? For instance, physical shops that, I don't know, maybe I don't want to mention names, like brands at the moment.
Brand name
clothes
stores
of a clothes. So
yep.
Can you, for instance, go or bring in a major clothes shop into the game, and then you pay him with Holocoin or X
Absolutely.
token or whatever, and then they deliver it for you, or maybe a pizza, or maybe, I don't know, sandwich, tacos, whatever.
Yeah. So we're designing our marketplace so that it will cater to not only your non-fungible tokens, but it'll also cater to things like, an e-commerce website. Let's say you have an Etsy website. We're going to have, layouts of these stores where it's very easy for you to kind of go in there and shop around their e-commerce website. You'll be able to kind of pick up their items and kind of see them in like a 3D setting if they make them like that, of course. And then you can kind of spin around, see what the object looks like. And then from there, make a purchase. It could also be something like a Patreon. Let's say you have a Patreon page, for your YouTube channel or something like that. You can kind of have like your own marketplace. It wouldn't really be a marketplace, but it could be your own like custom store where you can go in there, you maybe buy your NFTs, you can subscribe to your Patreon all from in there, almost like a link tree in a way. Like you can turn that store into whatever type of physical, virtual, VIRL, store that you want, to be honest.
But basically, recruiting, for instance, or expanding via PRs or whatever, bringing in some big brands, I think it would be fun. It should be possible to integrate something like this, because it's anyway, the bigger the game, it's marketing for them. Being there is simply marketing for them, and then they will be able to deliver. The only problem is how to filter location wise, because for instance, I'm in Berlin now, and imagine I go and I order some tacos from somebody that is in New York. It will never come.
Yep.
So
I think a lot of what we can do is we can, also, filter things down to, I think a lot of it will kind of start with whatever their e-commerce website looks like. And then we can also kind of set zones for it. So, we can set up, if you're over in Europe, or if you're in the US, or, wherever you're at in the world, we can do it location based. So, you can set filters for your marketplace, so that you can shop regionally, and then go into, your local shop and shop that way.
That would be great. So basically, you mentioned a little bit about it. So many collection has already been added to Immersys ecosystem or metaverse.
Yeah.
Many, much more basically are on the waiting list. Among them, our own Pixel Faces.
Yeah.
That is looking to have some really its first utility there.
Yeah.
So besides bringing, as you said, bringing the NFT to life, and you said maybe with some tasks or whatever, there will be some sort of value, added value for the NFT, people will go to buy it. But how do you expect, or do you imagine that will reflect basically to the creator or to the NFT collection itself? How would it benefit him in a way or another?
Absolutely. So, I mean, I think even just from what I've noticed, it looks like of the collections that we've added, some of their most popular NFTs that they have when they're spawned down into the world, they're obviously getting exposure from the players. And as our player base continues to grow through us inviting them via the beta cards that get airdropped to current holders, you know, you're going to get exposure to your collection inside of Immersys. Now that exposure alone, pretty much, because right now it does function almost as only a showcase app at this point. And I've been going through some of the collections just to kind of see what the price of certain NFTs that I personally wanted as soon as I saw them added into Immersys. And we've seen them almost triple to 5 times in price, just being added into Immersys. Now, in addition to the things that we can do with, you know, your NFTs and add them as like these requirements for quests, or add them as these access keys to certain zones inside of Immersys, or, you know, maybe even the artists themselves going out like above and beyond and taking their art and adding these additional, you know, animations and idle things, and making their NFT become even more, you know, alive inside of Immersys. They can do special things like for their own NFTs, and we can bring that in there. So let's say you have a 3D object, and maybe it's a still 3D object right now, and then you later decide to animate it and give it to us. We put that animated 3D object now inside of it. So now you get to experience it in a totally different way. I think exposure alone is pretty massive. I think once you're an NFT owner and you're able to rent out a shop inside of Immersys, and you get to set up that shop the way that you want, you know, you can keep your bots out, you can grow a community in there, you can actually, like, almost not face to face, but you can virtually talk to your customers into why I should, you know, you should buy my collection and the art. I think there's a lot of, you know, value added to any kind of collection that comes in here, because first off, we're not taking your NFTs away from you either.
Sure.
A lot of the games take your NFTs away from you. No, you just need to hold them in your Wax wallet, and we just verify the asset, and then
it's very nice to check between the authentic and some replications and stuff like that.
Exactly.
One question that came like blinked in my mind: how would I be able to own a shop or piece of land or something?
Yeah. So right now we're developing the shops in phase kind of 1. So we have our second phase of Immersys as the economy, which is going to actually be a marketplace with Holocoin. But right now we're just kind of working on the pre-economy marketplace. So these marketplaces are going to kind of be pre-built. They're going to be not pre-built, but they're also going to be custom. So we're going to work with, you know, certain creators that want to rent out the space. You'll kind of rent out the space per month within Wax essentially, and we will set up your shop. It'll run all month long, and then you can, you know, set up, you know, whatever you want to sell in there. It could be pretty much anything. That'll be kind of the way it works, is you basically pay rent for the spot inside of Immersys. Eventually we'll sell you the template for the shop, and you can build it on your own land later on. But initially, everything's going to kind of be built on Immersys owned land, so you're renting from us.
Okay. So I do not have that much of technical background, let's say, or coding background. Yeah. And knowing I'm a creator, and let's assume Pixel Faces is already in Immersys. How easy will it be for me to integrate stuff, to add stuff, to expand, and to do? Would it be that simple?
It should be as easy as if you can make a drop on NFT blocks, it's you copying the drop link from NFT blocks and putting it in there. You know, if it's, and then you may be sending us, you know, the PNG file of the pixel face. So we basically will put it on like a shelving type unit basically, and you'll kind of line up the shop with all your different NFT selections, and then also have when you inspect it, it'll allow you to make the purchase of that NFT, almost like it's on the Atomic Hub marketplace right now. It'll just kind of be presented in this 3D, world instead of on just a website going forward.
So basically you will be kind of integrating links, so URLs, into some pictures that would be sent to you virtually. So you integrate them into the code. So basically A is picture 1, B picture 2, and then you tag them with the URL, and then basically when they click, it goes. That's how it's supposed to be.
That's exactly it. Yeah, at least in phase, 1 of the marketplace. Eventually, we want the whole marketplace to be on chain inside of Immersys. So once that's the case, then, it won't even be links. We'll have some type of, setup of a drop right inside of Immersys. So you're setting up your own drop, and then once it's set up inside of Immersys, it'll display, in a unique way, essentially. And then all the transaction happens there. You don't go off somewhere else to purchase it.
And how heavy duty will that be on your team? How much effort will it take? Imagine now, let's say you have 10, and then next week there will be 20 or 50. Would your team be able to handle all the requests all the time? And I saw something about 20 NFTs at first. What is that?
Yeah, so 20 NFTs to start. So that's with the creator card. It was kind of a way of giving you access to the game with also kind of specifying you as a creator inside of Immersys. So each template to get added in there is going to be a cost essentially for a creator. The card gives you access plus the ability of just this default. We kind of just put a number on 20. It wasn't really a specific thing. Like you can buy additional slots. We just haven't opened that up to everybody yet. But it was just a number that we chose. We felt like that was a solid enough amount of templates to kind of put into Immersys, given that you get access to, the game and get your art into Immersys. We kind of needed to put a price on it, and we put it at 1,000 wax. And it was just kind of a number that we kind of came up with based off of the amount of effort that it takes for us to put the template in, and, the ability, like some of the benefits that you get as a creator.
So basically the 20 templates would be sent to you, and then only those templates
tend to be, it depends. A lot of collections have, some collections don't even have 20, but then other collections have like, 120, 200. Really depends on the collection and what type of art they sell. Like if they're doing photography, they tend to have way more NFT templates because, they're taking, pictures all the time and adding those new photos. Whereas if they're kind of doing individual art, you kind of, it's like actually like drawing the things, it's kind of time consuming. So they don't have as many templates, but it really depends. We've seen a range of it. And then obviously, not everything needs to necessarily go into Immersys. You can kind of make these drops exclusive to Immersys, or you can choose the ones that what we recommend for creators coming into Immersys is, give us a couple rare ones that, people with, if they saw it in the world, would absolutely go ahead and take a look at your collection. Give us a couple promos, ones that everybody has. So maybe 1 or 2 promos. These are NFTs that everybody has, so they at least have some type of representation inside of the world. And then kind of give us your top set. So like whatever your top set is, give us that, and then, may have between like 25 to maybe 200 owners or whatever. And then that they can kind of go and show off some more. It's a little bit more limited, but you're not cutting a lot of people out of your project. Like the goal of Immersys is to make your project more valuable. So you kind of want to have enough, templates or enough, supply of that template so that other people can see it in the world and then go buy it themselves.
Hopefully, if we are lucky enough and we join Immersys, I think I should be limiting it to the top ends ones. Maybe, and try to play a little bit on the blending. Maybe by blending few of the lower end, you can unlock the higher end, and that's a way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I saw that your way of dropping. So you had a drop, if I recall right, it was Saturday, a few days ago.
Yep.
And during your drop, basically what you do is you send, or you drop, your airdrop basically your NFTs, the beta cards, to your original beta cards holders, and then direct interaction between people or giveaways or whatever, selling on the secondary market. That's how it's happening. Why do you do it, or why did you prefer to doing it this way rather than selling it, raising some funds and pushing forward and further your project by raising capital?
Absolutely. So we knew that the key themselves just grants you access to the game. So yes, there's a ton of value in just being able to come in the game because you get to participate in like certain events that we hold in there. You get to pick up NFTs in there and stuff like that. But the main thing that we were trying to get from our beta players is feedback, suggestions, things that they wanted to see. So we were going to give them the foundation. We were going to give them, the option to buy the first 100 keys. If they really, really wanted to support the project and get in there, we sold the first 100 keys. So then we had, a starting player base of about 100 people. From that 100 people, we were getting great feedback, great suggestions. And then we decided, instead of, continuing selling the beta keys, why not reward the people that are already in the game, giving us all the information that we need to continue to make Immersys awesome, in addition to just us rewarding you with additional beta keys that you can sell or give out or trade with your friends, or even just like let your friends know and then give it to them for free. You can give it away to them. What we got from that is additional word of mouth. So it works out in our favor a lot. So we're not making anything off the beta keys other than obviously the secondary sales of them, but that's minimal. Yeah. But the amount that we get from it is we get all this feedback, we get word of mouth, we get people, giving away our keys, like the big collections giving away our keys because now they have this, this valuable NFT. I think they're still holding a price of about $20 to $30 right now, which that's a pretty good NFT to give away. Like that's a solid NFT to give away. So, it creates this interaction where it's kind of, you go out and tell people about the project, you get rewarded for participating in the project. And, we get the feedback, that we need to continue building it.
Very nice. Before coming to the last part of this, in which I will let you freely speak, if there is something that you would like to add that we forgot to cover or something, I would like just to mention that you decided to donate one beta key, and I will donate this beta key to whomever. Not to one. So basically we have 5 or 6 different limited edition NFTs. From now to the end of the month, whomever buy from them will enter a raffle. The numbers will be randomly selected. If one picks it, that key will go to him. If more, it will be a raffle, and then randomly selected one guy will be awarded the key. And thank you for this beta key, and I hope that it goes to somebody that is really willing to support you as much as, because I am definitely sure that somebody will go to spend roughly 7K WAX on one of my limited edition NFT, definitely is so eager to participate in Immersys and should be able to support and help. So thank you for that. And now the air is yours. So if there is something that we forget to cover, would you like to add about the game, about the future roadmap, anything about the project, please feel free to speak.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks so much. So Immersys, I'll just kind of go over it. We call it the WAX NFT Metaverse. It's a virtual world where you can play on desktop or VR. What you're allowed to do is turn your NFTs into in-game objects.
So I don't want to interrupt, but I enabled the screen sharing. So if you would like to show, so feel free to do that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's actually do that. So give me just a second here. Sure. I'm going to pull up Immersys here and get the screen shared. All right. Yeah, so we'll get in here. This is the desktop version of it. Hopefully it's looking good on the stream here. So The desktop version really plays like Minecraft, where it's WASD to move, and then your head movements are going to be with your mouse. So Immersys is a virtual world where you can come in and socialize, interact, participate with others using NFTs that are built on the HOLX blockchain. And we interact and socialize with people using our main tool, which is our virtual tablet. The virtual tablet works like a cell phone in the real world, or a smartphone in the real world, where we have an app store where you can come in and download and install a ton of different applications to the home screen of your virtual tablet. These V apps, is what we call them, virtual apps, provide functionality inside of the Immersys world. So this robot RC is an example of a NFT that you actually have to purchase off of Atomic Hub in order to be able to use it inside of the Immersys world. And what it does is it allows you to spawn out a drone and fly a drone out and get awesome like vantage points of taking like pictures of your NFTs. You can kind of explore the world using it. But this is an example of a V app inside of Immersys that is only accessible by owning an NFT. We also have, the ability to play games. So Ellie Blob Arena. Ellie Blob is actually one of our NFT collections, where it's kind of like this Pokemon type collecting game where now you can have a full-fledged battle with somebody else inside of Immersys. And the battle conducts in front of you, and it's 3v3, and a huge fight happens in front of you. The next thing that you can do is you can spawn out NFT collections out into the world. So for example, I can spawn out this particular NFT. So this is from the Little Monsters collection. This one's more of just a sticker, but we can also do things like spawn out something that plays music, and you'll hear the music. Everybody around the NFT will be able to hear the music. It's going to play the audio out. The farther you get away, the less you hear it. The closer you get to it, the louder you hear it. People have put in 3D objects, so you can spawn out objects and they'll work in 3D. They can follow you. They can walk, and if they're animated and rigged to do that. These are examples of exclusive access rooms. So only people that are holding particular NFTs can go into these portals. So that's another use case of NFTs inside of Immersys. And then we are going to be adding in, the other districts where, you're going to be able to participate in a marketplace. I guess I could technically show you guys the marketplace first here. Why not? Just give you a little idea of what a marketplace looks like in Immersys. So nobody else has actually seen this. I'm the only one that actually has access to it. But you would come into a street sort of like this, where, you would see the store name. It would have like the store name. You can kind of window shop, different NFT collections. And then you would go into, the door of that shop and be able to purchase, NFTs from inside of there. So that kind of gives you an idea of what going outward from that central hub would look like. Is, each district will provide some type of, experience or, different type of atmosphere that you can kind of go into and, either buy NFTs, socialize about NFTs, play games inside of Immersys and earn NFTs, tons of different things. But yeah, I think that kind of sums up the project. I mean, if you want to get some more information about it, I would just recommend going to our website and reading our white paper. So that's immersys.io. You can actually, if you get in here first, you can go to our website right inside of here on the web browser and read our white paper, inside of the game, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's
the description. That. No worries.
Yeah.
So I really like it. It looks quite lovely and fancy. So I really, really like it. Just one question about the sticker and the other guys, that the frog with the newspaper that you brought up. Is that an NFT that you own, or it's a random NFT that you drop?
So these are only NFTs that I own. I can only spawn things that I actually own in this world. And that's where that ownership kind of comes in. So you can only spawn stuff that you own.
That's very nice. So thank you so much, Dan. It was really a pleasure, and I really look forward to the day that my NFT collection is in there. I hope that we'll have some really lovely collaboration together.
Absolutely. And we love to have you in there. We'll get to you. Like you mentioned, there is quite a wait list right now. If there is any creators that watch this that want to be a part of Immersys, 100% of creators get in here. We're not limiting anybody from, like, we never say no to anybody. Everybody can get in here. You know, you can go to our website and apply as well.
I will make sure that this will be included in our description, and I highly recommend people to go and to join, because it's gonna be a lot of fun and a lot of attraction. And thank you so much for your time once more, Dan. And I wish you a nice day.
You too, and thanks so much for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you.
It was a pleasure having you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Crypto Untangled. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. For more information, visit us at kryptonnewslebanon.com. We'll see you soon.